Going live. Great. Okay. Well, hello everybody and welcome to Ask Me Any, or in this case, Ask Us Anything about accreditation. My name's Aurora Dawn Campbell, Business Director at the 𝐸𝐴 and I'm based in France. And today I'm joined by the lovely Catalina Flore. Hello, Catalina. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much for reconnecting and also with the audience.
You're very
and
welcome.
Hello from Amsterdam, the Netherlands.
Yes, definitely. We were just talking about the weather before we went online because I was just speaking to the lovely Anna in Cyprus, and she was saying, "Oh, it's so warm here, and next month it's going to get hot." And I said, "We can't guarantee the weather anywhere. We'd love a little bit of sunshine, wouldn't we, Catalina?"
We do. And as coaches, also, we need to take care of ourselves, pace our body, take care of our wellness in order to show up at our best for the people we serve, right?
Exactly, and that's why we're on the meditation together today. So
yes, it was lovely. Every Monday, 1 o'clock, please look at the 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐶𝐚 meditation link. Yeah, you can register. This is an oasis for me. It's just wonderful. I know that mid of the week, I have my people meditating together. It's very special. I'm a daily meditator, but doing together with people and somebody else holding the space, in this case you, it just gives me energy for the second part of the week. And it's a precious time for me. So I hope people will connect with this.
Yeah. Well, even as a guide, I mean, as I said today, we're all beginners, but I know I guide the session, but it is really helpful for me as well because it cements whatever I've learned that week, and I love to share it. So it's all good. And you're absolutely right, Catalina. As coaches, we have a duty of care to show up with the best possible mental headspace that we can to be present with our clients. But I'm sure we'll come back to that in a moment. Before we get started, I'll just set the scene for you. And for anybody else who's just stumbling across this call on any of the social media platforms thinking, oh, who are these two lovely looking ladies who are talking about coaching and accreditation? We are sometimes known as people's guilty pleasure. People have sent messages to say, I like having my cup of tea or coffee, listening to you to have a conversation. But essentially what we're doing is we're educating the public about the importance of accreditation. And by the public, I mean people who are going to be hiring a coach and or a mentor, or training with a training provider. So we help them do their due diligence. That's how we started out 27 years ago, 1998. Our mission was first do no harm, help the public do their due diligence and pick the right coach for them at the right time. But of course, we also have coaches who are listening who say, what's accreditation about? Somehow it's past my radar, or they know about it, but they don't think it's important. I mean, we strongly believe it's a sign of a professional coach, that you're joining a profession, just as if you were an accountant or an insurance person. You take a certain set of exams and you register with a national body. So for us as professional coaches, it's a no-brainer. But we also have some training providers listening. And sometimes we get questions around, well, how is this going to attract more international paying students? Well, of course, accreditation helps you stand out in what has become a very noisy digital space, particularly post-COVID. So, that's kind of who we have listening, Catalina, and some of the questions we get. My VA, Rowena, is online and she will field any questions. She'll be checking all the social media platforms and field questions for us. Otherwise, we are just going to enjoy a conversation. So let's start with a great transpersonal question. What fills your heart with joy at the moment? What do you do as a coach to nurture yourself outside of work, I wonder?
Well, we just talk about the meditation. That's and you touched during the meditation a nice nice chord, make it your hobby.
Hobby.
And meditation is my hobby, because
Yeah.
I told you in 2011, during a 10-day retreat, silence retreat, what happened to me, I had spontaneous yeah, healing, if you like, from allergy in a meditation. So I got intrigued about this, and I realized, it helps me be present, and coaching is about being present. And we're going to talk more about this. Coaching is not about asking questions from memory, necessarily. You do it at the beginning. Coaching is about cultivating this presence with your
Mm.
client, with what's going on with a coaching relationship, so you can serve at the best. You can reflect to the person what they say, so they can hear the listening, and then the question will emerge. So we need absolutely the presence and nature and connecting and chatting with interesting people. This is very important to me, and sporting, exercising, very important to me. So this is
Okay.
how I charge myself.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I find the majority of people, and most of the people I'm talking to, let's face it, are coaches or mentors. The majority of people I ask that question to say about exercise, meditation, being out in the great outdoors that's nurturing, but they don't find time to actually do it. It's just always a sort of paradoxical type situation that this is the one thing that we want. But like we were saying with the Zen Buddhist, if you can't find 1 hour to meditate, you need 10. So we know what we need to nurture ourselves, but we're too busy to do it because we're running a coaching practice. We're trying to grow and establish ourselves and constantly win business. But at the same time, we have to put ourselves first. We have to become our own best client. Even if it means sitting on 2 seats, which we've been doing a few times this week with new students.
Yeah,
Put yourself in one seat and imagine that a client has come to you with this scenario. Now put yourself back in the coaching seat. How are you going to coach them through that? Well, that's how you coach yourself through it.
right.
So we need to take our own medicine, don't we?
Yes, and be in integrity with ourselves. And we need these activities to be able to be in integrity with ourselves.
Yeah.
I take coaching as, it's very serious. We work with people, we work with individuals, with decision making, and we need to be able to be fresh and very present.
Yeah.
So the
I'm glad
foundation
you
is
used the
there.
word integrity, Catalina, because that's a word I'm hearing quite a lot at the moment, that our industry lacks integrity. What is your take on that, and how can we improve the image of the coaching industry?
Well, coaching can take so many hats. That is the whole thing. I've heard so many people saying, I am the inventor of coaching. I am the best coach. I create the best coaching schools. I create the best coaching programs. And coaching is quite wild. Yeah. Some people understand by coaching by just giving advice to people and giving influence, right? Very prescriptive. Where we are, we create the space, we have certain skills, but we have the capabilities, right? In order to choose the right skills at the right time for the right situation for the right client. So I think as the world of business as well becomes more complex, we need to protect people we work with, right? And we as coaches, coaching is also about power in a way, because people come to you until they understand what coaching is. They look at you as authority, right? And we are a very important partner to our clients. And for this, we need to make sure that we have certain standards, that that we are assessed against the standards, that we continually improve. And this comes integrity to me. And over the years, coaching accreditation, we know, has evolved with different models. You know very well the competency models, right? That ICF still has it. IAPCM moved or evolved, transformed from and competency-based models, which is, you know, specific skills that can be observed and assessed, towards capabilities. So it's a deeper level. When I look at it, it's about applying judgment, integrate skills, respond effectively in complex real-world context. So this is where I see integrity implemented, and that's why I think that for us, being part of an organization that look at coaching in a professional way, creates accountability, to me that is integrity, and creates also a level playing field, and you know, a language where you can compare and serve your clients.
Very well said. I mean, as I was speaking, explaining to Anna, who's in Cyprus, and she was considering accreditation, and she said coaching's not very well known in Cyprus. And I said, well, actually, whereas normally I would say accreditation is going to help you to stand out in a crowded market because it's just another key differentiator. So you're trained, you're certified, you're experienced, you've got insurance if your country offers insurance, and you're independently accredited. And the other one that I'm very passionate about is you've got some sort of publication. It could be an ebook or whatever, but you've got something that says, I'm an expert, this is how I do it, and this is how I do it differently to everybody else. But we'll come back to that, I'm sure. But for her in Cyprus, accreditation was about establishing trust and credibility, because it's not a well-known facility. People know about therapy over there, but she said in coaching, particularly in her field, it was pretty unknown. So accreditation would help with the credibility side, as well as the differentiator that the public are increasingly looking for. You know, they've got such a choice of coaches, thousands of niches, thousands and thousands of coaches. How do they choose? You know, so we have a duty to make it easy for them to identify us in a very noisy digital space, that I am the coach for you because this is what I do. This is the results my clients get. Here's the testimonials and the proof, the empirical evidence that it works. And this is how you contact me. So we've really got to, I think, start pulling back all the different layers, making it as easy as possible. At the end of the day, Catalina, it's a conversation. It's not rocket science. And I think that's part of the problem. My hairdresser said, oh, I could do what you do. I give advice and listen all day long. And it's not that, but that is the perception, that anybody who listens and can give advice and help solve things is a coach, but that's not what a coach is.
Absolutely. And saying that, you know, I got the results, and, you know, I tell people how to get the results. This is not coaching. Is giving information, it's mentoring, but not coaching. And of course, there are gray lines, and I understand sometimes you change when you serve a client, when you have the skills, you change hats. But again, coaching is an unregulated profession, right? We work with influence, with decision making, with identity, with vulnerability of people, right? So accreditation exists to provide professional accountability, to create trust, as you said, to create ethical standards. You mentioned therapy. When is the time that I suggest my client goes to have therapy and not coaching? You need to know that, and then you get to learn this by being part of an accredited body that gives you information and trains you and brings you to a level where you understand where you can make these decisions. So it's also, if you can look at it, I work a lot with corporates, right? And it's about external quality assurance. You look at accreditation as well. You don't guarantee excellence necessarily, and commercial success, but it is a external quality assurance. And then of
Mm.
course it comes learning, developing. That's why we have CPD, right? Continuous professional development, where we keep upgrading our standards, right? Our knowledge. We learn from each other so we can serve our clients at a higher level, right? That's
Yeah.
why we need formal recognition processes
Hmm.
where a professional body assess a coach's practice against certain standards.
Hmm.
And this,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I can go many directions from here, but it's important to have this basis um, before before you go and put yourself on the market, or you
Yeah.
become a coach and then you get some experience and then you say, oh, it's time for me to play at a different level and be
Yes.
part of an organization that has high standards and
Hmm.
can help me grow.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why we have the portfolio route. It's that sort of catch-all. You may not have been traditionally trained, and we do have quite a few people in the forces who have excellent coaching skills, but have never been on a formal coaching course. It was part of their overall leadership. And once they understood what coaching was, the difference between coaching, counseling, therapy, mentoring, they can come to us and say, right, I have approximately X number of hours. And because the beauty of the capabilities-based model is it's inclusive, we can tell very quickly whether somebody has got the coaching skills to deliver. And then when they're talking to their clients, they can offer the coaching. And if they've gone for a combo accreditation, they become a coach and a mentor and change their hats, throughout the conversation without
Absolutely.
having to make a big thing of it because they've already dealt with it at the contracting stage. And then we become part of our client's dream team. And at some point, they may need a counselor, they may need a therapist, they may need a teacher, but we're part of their dream team helping them achieve their goals. So, yeah, the portfolio route is really important because there are a lot of great coaches out there who have not had formal coaching experience. And we don't want to say you're not a coach when clearly that's what they are driven and called to do. So if they can demonstrate that, that's also the beauty of getting rid of the competencies model, because
Yeah.
from a competencies model, you can know the theory backwards. Doesn't mean you've got the empathy, the people, soft skills to be able to hold space. So, yeah, I mean, just as a rough example, yesterday I was talking to somebody, a new relationship, and he was a very spiritual guy. And it just so happens I'm a holistic coach. So I said, would you like me to pull a card for you? And he went, wow, nobody's ever pulled a card for me. I'm always pulling cards for other people, which is an oracle card. Um, and it meant that we got each other and we're talking the same language. And then, of course, he wanted to become part of our community. So
Yeah.
you've got to find ways of connecting, and that doesn't come through theory and books. It's part of CPD, but you've got it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to say it's a bit like, and I think it was Zig Ziglar who said it. That you can train, or maybe it was Brian, oh, can't remember his name, Brian Tracy, that you can train people uh, with skills, but you can't train in the attitude. If they've got the right attitude, everything else they can train in. I think it's kind of that scenario, isn't it?
Yeah. And for some people, a competency based pathway makes sense.
Mm.
Um, the what I've seen, it can go towards starting to coach from memory, um, learning like a parrot certain behaviors and click, click,
Yeah,
click.
it's very academic,
Um,
isn't it?
it's yeah, and then if you think for other people, experienced coaches, in particular, working in complex systems, a capability-based model that IAPCM uses, I think in my way offers a deeper and more accurate reflection of professional practice, because you have the skill, but do you use it at the right time, in the right way, in the right context, right? So I think that's a model. I think it's a deeper level, and we are evolving, right? And that's why you need to find out which is the organization that reflects where you are and what you need.
Yes.
And yeah, many people, and I actually I chose IAPCM from many different ways, but reasons. I find that the organization really recognize professional judgment. It's not just technique, and assess coaching in context, not in abstraction, and it was a very clear progression path to fellowship level, but getting support from the organization at the same time. So I felt I had a direction, I had certainty, I had connection, which is very important to me, always getting the answers that I needed. And if I had the dilemmas, it was not just a student teacher and assessment type of relationship, but it was support. And I think that's very important. It felt in a way home coaching from home. And yeah, to me, it's been a great decision, I think, moving in this direction.
Oh, well, thank
Moving
you
in
for
this
sharing that. It's
direction.
always nice to hear people's reasons for joining. So if we go back even further then, Catalina, what was the catalyst, or what was the reason for you even becoming a coach? How did it cross your radar as a profession?
I used to be a banker, and 25 years ago, I went to a course and I realized that the it was a training, but also it had coaching. And I said, I felt at home. And I said, this would be something that I really like to explore. And I saw the questions that were asked by the coach completely changed the conversation and started to create bulb moment to people in that experience. And I said, this is fascinating. And I've done my coaching training with Noble Manhattan in 2005 while still a banker. And I said, yeah, for me, it's clear I want to move in that direction. I realized my thinking was changing and evolving because of the coaching. In school when I grew up, it was a lot. You got lots of love and appreciation if you knew the answer. And moving into coaching and realizing you don't need to know the answers, but you can facilitate learning and development in one person. I thought it's fascinating. If I tell you the answer, Dawn, you will not believe it, but if you come to the answer yourself, it's yours, right?
Yeah.
And I found it interesting and fascinating. And I said, I can use it also in my profession. So, and in my profession, I was running quite a very large department, and our bank was one of the largest bank at that time. Was chopped. It was a situation that happened in 2008. So I had basically to restructure and also to let people go. And then I realized what's beyond that, and I started to use my coaching skills. And it has been so impactful that I said, I want to do this for a living. And then I transitioned from banking into coaching. And then, of course, I thought, yeah, I need some guidance. I need to be at certain standards, and plus my let's say my area of interest were corporations. Corporations don't work anymore, you know very well, Dawn, with coaches that are not accredited. Large corporations, they just close the door if you don't have an accredited coach from an important accredited body such as
Yeah,
IBCM, ICF, and so there is no way you can get into organizations and
I've
work
heard.
with
Yeah.
senior managers, with top executives, you know, my clients, if you don't have the accreditation. So for me, that is how the trajectory started a long time ago, 20 plus
Okay.
years ago. And having said that, I have grown a lot as a person during the accreditation process
Mm,
because, you know, I've learned, I stretched myself, I became more resilient. I opened the doors to what I didn't know that was possible in coaching. So for me, it has been a beautiful, challenging process that also gave me credibility with my corporations, with my clients.
yes. Yeah.
Very, very important. Very, very important.
Yeah. I didn't know that we came from the same school. I was a year before you.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here
I
you
knew there
go.
was
How
another reason why
beautiful.
we hit it off.
Yeah, here we go. That's a beautiful experience. It
Yeah.
really changed. You know, that's coaching a lot. It's helping the client to see their thinking and then access more choices and improving their thinking. That has been coaching training for me
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
realized I can think in a different way that helps me in my life,
Mm,
firstly for myself, but also I can engage with people in a different way, right? By being
yes.
curious, cultivate. You are talking about attitudes, right? Not only skills. Skills, you know, we can all learn skills and we can
Mm,
learn attitudes if we want. Attitudes are crucial. If they are not there, curiosity,
yeah.
presence,
Yeah.
right? Kindness, not nice, not being nice, being kind is different than being
Yes.
nice, right?
Exactly. Yes.
We courage. What do? We help our clients go deeper and face their demons,
Mm,
their, you know, whatever you want to call them. We need to
mhm.
develop our courage. Accreditation process, I tell you, helped me tap into my courage a lot.
Mhm.
And having window, and, you know, a window to the soul, but having a mirror and looking, you know, where I
Yes.
am and where I can go, and putting distance between identity and skills and or
Mm,
behaviors, right?
mhm.
Um, yeah, it's been
Mm,
irreplaceable.
yeah. A lot of
Amazing.
members say that the accreditation process, and of course, in an unregulated market, is quite scary. You know, we're volunteering to put our head above the parapet and say, assess me. You know, we don't need to be assessed. We don't, you know, it's not mandatory yet. But a lot of coaches, I hear them say what a massive boost to their confidence it was, because obviously when they were certified at this level against
Yeah,
all their peers. When you go for accreditation, you're assessed up here against anybody from around the world. It's, you know, a truly
absolutely.
international standard. So I can understand why people don't have the courage to put themselves through accreditation. A lot of people think that they don't need to because they've got enough clients at the moment. But as long as the clients are being educated and they're starting to ask the right questions, the need will come more frequently from the coach as to why they're becoming accredited, because I'm being asked, are you accredited? And I've heard what you said on the application form. You can't tick I'm a member of an accreditation body. You actually have to tick I am accredited. Otherwise, you know, throw your application form away. People aren't interested. So
Yeah.
when you're working corporately, what are some of the leadership issues that they are facing today that impacts, you know, the world, and how coaches can help? Catalina, is there some sort of trend that you're working with your clients?
I tell you what I see. in all of them, irrespective of the level. And some they close it, they hide it better than others, but it comes at the surface, and which is very popular, saying the syndrome, the what's the name, the
Imposter.
imposter syndrome. That am I
Okay.
good enough for this challenge? And so we are there a lot to help them.
Yeah.
Um, First of all, dare to say it, because it's
Yes.
there, and you have people that have access to this state, and they talk about it. Now I need more confidence, but you have those that are very guarded, and they guard very much their lack of
Yes.
confidence, right? So
Yeah, of course.
that's why you need a lot of experience to go through these veils, and so that's one thing. Another thing is working on transitions that happens very fast in corporations, with restructuring, where division being created, division disappearing, people being moved from one to another. You need to be fast to create teams that are bonding with each other, that you establish yourself as the right leader. And there are so many moving pieces that you can go into coaching, and that's why being so strong in the coaching space, and as a coach, to understand where the client is and help ask the right question that goes into the bull's eye, and you prioritize in this way. Where are you going to go with coaching? This comes from experience, but again, accreditation, because you learn from one each other, you learn from your mentors, then ethical issues. I had the clients that I suggested therapy, and they went because it was the right thing to do. So it's
Mhm.
also being so strong to be able to say goodbye to business in order
Yeah.
to serve the client. That's the
Yeah.
ethical part as well. That is very, very important.
Mm.
Um, and that, of course, accreditation helped me a lot to understand how
Yeah.
important this is, right?
Yeah.
So it's not only marketing that I have a nice title, I reached the fellowship. Yeah, I'm very proud of my title. And it's a lot of work, a lot of experience, a lot of developed wisdom behind it, and a lot of guidance through accreditation as well.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then, of course, the health and well-being stuff, because it's,
Mm.
helping clients reach their goals, develop their leadership, not at the expense of the well-being, their integrity as human being, and so on. So I
Yeah.
work a lot with this as well.
It's really interesting, isn't it, that even the most perceived successful people at the top of their tree, they're riddled with anxiety, imposter syndrome. I've sort of liken it to comedians. Something puts them out there on stage, but quite often they have to have a drink or a drug to get out there.
Yeah.
And the extreme highs and lows, they're just riddled with low self-esteem. I don't know how we can overcome it, but I'm sure if we were all more comfortable in our own skin, the world would be a kinder place. We wouldn't be
Yeah.
judging and competitive with each other. And that wouldn't matter whether you're a coach, a comedian, or a leader. We're all suffering the same things. And
Yeah.
that strikes me every week when I do a guided meditation, how similar coaching is to meditation.
Yeah.
Same sort of principles.
Yeah. And we have so many, we are, as humans, we are rich. Rich in the sense that we have so many different parts in us.
Yeah.
And it's learning, to cohabitate with different sides of us, and to understand why they are there and how we can use those energy, and learning to be resourceful and access what is needed in a certain context, and where you can need to let go of other parts in those contexts. And so it's a with lots of self-care and respect, um,
Mm.
And that's why, coaching can help people, look at their thinking, hear their thinking in a different way, so they can create more choice in their
Yeah,
behavior and in every aspect. And having compassion for all of us, and for ourselves, first of all, because if we develop this self-compassion, then we will be able to be more compassionate with others, right?
yeah. Everything starts with ourselves.
Right? So, and that's why, as a coach, you need to be in integrity. You need to do we were talking, about self-care and doing all these practices in order
Yeah,
to help us show up for our client. Otherwise, we're gonna be triggered, and instead of being present with the client, we're gonna attend our inner dialogue and wherever we are taken by being triggered, which is
yeah,
also another way we are human. So that's also noticing and coming back to the client, right?
yes,
Um, so that's why we need to do our work,
yeah.
development work as well. Very, very important, I think, for our profession. Very, very, to do our healing, to do our growth, and yeah.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of wisdom there. And I'm continually struck by the similarity between the meditation and the coaching and creating that
Yeah.
space and doing the inner work yourself first. So, what would you say then, Catalina, to Joe Public who thinks, do you know, it's January, I've let my New Year's resolutions go, but I still want to make some changes. Can a coach really help me? Are they really going to make a difference? I could just talk to my friend. What would you say to them?
Well, you can always talk to your friend. That is also very, very nice. A friend is not, unless a friend is a very good coach and it's put its coaching hat, you need to have some skills to have a conversation. Coaching, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful connection and conversation that has some actions afterwards and implementations, right? So, in a coaching conversation, a coach is there not necessarily to please you like a friend, is there to be your mirror, a mirror for you, and to help you crystallize your outcome, crystallize why you are into coaching, and help you understand where you are and close the gap, and then develop all with you all the steps that need to be taken after the conversation with a friend. It's very nice, the connection is very important, but it's not necessarily an outcome like you get with coaching.
Hmm. I mean, you talked about as coaches, we need to have courage to ask the big questions. But actually, just listening to what you've said has made me realize that the coachee, the client, they have to have courage as well, because nobody likes having a mirror held up to themselves. And we say in meditation, you need courage to sit with yourself because that's when the hard truths appear.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, you're absolutely right. If you just want to continue having nice conversations and go round the houses, then by all means, a friend is going to do a good job. If you want somebody who's going to gently give you a push, the much needed push you need, a kick up the bottom, whatever you want to call it, and hold you accountable, because you're not going to pay for a session and come back every week, month in, month out. It's not like therapy, so it's not a long relationship. It might only be a couple of sessions, but you're not going to come back every time having not done the work,
Yeah.
because your coach isn't going to let you do that. So yeah, the coachee needs courage as well. And that's why it's important we hold that safe space
Yeah.
and non-judgmental, etc.
Yeah. And coaching is not therapy, but coaching conversations can be therapeutic. That's
Yes.
and of course, this comes also from courage and being open to be honest with your coach.
Mhm.
And a few days ago, I had a chemistry call with a person that is client now, and she was sent by her boss. And she was saying, my boss wants this, that I do this, and that I'm not so alcoholic, and I can put the distance between this, and my boss works this, and my boss. And I asked, and what do you want? We take stuff from outside, and we don't realize we carry this in our language, in our focus. And
Yes.
it made her realize, oh my God, I'm transforming into my boss, but actually I want to be here. So the conversation was, around what do you want,
Yeah.
and why are you here, and what would serve you best at this moment in your career.
Yeah.
So
Coaching
that's
doesn't work very well, does it, if you're not there voluntarily?
absolutely, absolutely right.
I
And
always
it's
say it's
like
not the best
therapy in
gift to
this
give
way.
somebody.
Right, exactly. And it's like therapy in this way. You need it, it's evolution, right? You need to go because you want it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's crucial, I
Yeah.
think. And
That's funny.
it's yeah, and then it's a deeply connective relationship, right? We
Yes.
between coach and I don't take this in a light way. I have so much respect for my clients, and I love my clients. I think this is very important as well. I really love my clients and want the best for them, and to serve them, and uh, not transforming into my clients,
Mm, mm,
right? So
yeah.
creating that space, which and being of service to the coaching agreement, and to the coaching space, and helping these people improve the quality of their life in the
Mm,
area where they
mm,
whatever, either is professional boundaries or whatever
yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
they come
Yeah. And being
to see me.
fortunate enough to work in a space where you only work with people that you genuinely feel connected to, and eventually you love your clients, you want the absolute best for them. That's not how we start out as coaches. We need clients, so we will work with anybody and take any situation. And as you say, sometimes you will cross some boundaries. And that's why when you're accredited, you understand the standards and ethics of not being all things to all people. Again, it takes courage, doesn't it? So what would you say then, Catalina, to any of the coaches out there who are starting out and aspire to achieve what you've achieved? What was some of the
Yeah,
things that you did while you were what I call waiting actively to fill your diary?
yeah. What I when I was very strategic. I said, I'm not going to jump from my work, from my job now, and stop my job. And I started, I will have 1 day a week with coaching. I negotiated to work 1 day less. So I will
Okay.
develop the skills. I put myself with the HR in the leadership programs as a business ambassador.
Mm,
So to hone my coaching skills. So you're
yes.
very right. At the beginning, you want to coach. And of course, at the beginning, I remember I wanted to save the world, to
Mm,
coach everybody and everything. And then you start learning, and then you realize in my evolution as a person and as a professional, what interests me to do more of, what kind of coaching context. And it emerges, right? This was also for you, the health and everything. It just comes. You need to have, I think, um, patient, to be patient, to be curious, to be in service, and what is in for you, it's emerging. But at the beginning, it's a normal period to start and doing more of it. Learn the skills,
mm,
learn the processes, develop the attitudes, we're talking about. And then you will say, oh, I want to work more with this kind of people in this kind of environments. And right, I mean, you need to know one of the scariest thing for many people is the fear of unknown. And when we start as coaches, right, unless you are like those people that are born with talent and say, I'm going to be a coach in working with corporate women on health, um, we have a transition process, right?
Yeah.
So we need to work on, on courage, on our self-awareness. Very, very important. So this is what I did. I took one day more and then another day, and I worked two days a week. So I had a very strategic approach. But of course, everybody is different. Some people want to jump in the ocean. I thought that I need to prepare myself to learn. And don't forget, I was a leader in banking, a manager, so I had the opportunity to practice my coaching skills because
Yes.
let's say, I teach coaching skills to leaders in the organization. That's very important. Leadership is coaching is a leadership style as well.
Yeah.
So this I took it for me, but and then I look at my interests. Oh, coaching, health has become a very important to me. So I said, how do I integrate this with leadership? And so it's an evolving process. We are never ending our development, right? That's why we have our CPD. But have patience and be curious. What do you like? What you don't like? What you want more of? And get into accreditation because the clarity will be formed also during that process as well. Does it answer?
It's very helpful.
Okay. Yeah, have patience. And at some point, I don't know how is it for you, and at some point you realize that we don't have to save the whole world, but
Yes.
we show up and we serve our people and they
Yeah.
serve them. Then yeah, how was it for
Yeah.
you?
It was very similar to you, actually, Catalina. I was working corporately and
Oh,
building my business. And although when I finished my training, I went all out that Monday morning, I was going to be a coach. It was in conjunction with my full-time job. So I was doing evenings and weekend. I was going to Chamber of Commerce meeting, Federation of Small Businesses, Women Who Lunch. In those days, 21 years ago, 22 years ago, we had business cards. We gave them out. I started talking and presenting. I didn't really know what I was doing in terms of a niche, but as a corporate person, I was speaking to business people. So I was talking about performance, communication skills. It was only really about a couple of years later that I then became an expat, that I lost all of that. So I'd been networking like an Olympian, and now I had to do everything virtually. So I was well ahead of the schedule when it came to COVID and taking our business online. I was used to dealing with clients and networking online. So that really served me well. But I was still in my infancy as a coach when I finally left my job, I think at 38, and moved to France. So I had to start again. And I thought then, what am I passionate about? Yes, I can always get work as a business coach, but what am I passionate about? And then I realized it was food, nutrition, health. And so I created a whole new niche around holistic health coaching. And then I realized the two were perfectly matched because I was working with SMEs, and if the health of the business owner
there you
was
go.
deteriorating, it impacted the business. And if the business was not good, doing well, the health of the owner
Yeah.
wasn't doing well. And I realized I'd picked two niches that were really well dovetailed. But it took me a good few years again, starting again. So a lot of training, diversification, writing books, networking, doing joint ventures, a lot of presenting at things like functional medicine in Europe, anywhere at all, and saying yes to everything until it came to a point where I could start to streamline and think, I don't want to do that. That doesn't serve me. That's not the right person to network. And I suppose a little bit of common sense crept in
Yeah.
you would say, and I got a little bit smarter with my work-life balance. But yeah, it's a big journey. There is no silver bullet, that's for sure. It takes a lot of
Yeah.
work.
And it might be at the beginning, more pushing. Oh, I need to get the clients and everything. But
Yes.
in time, what I notice, and when you do also the meditation, you do also the healing, that you start manifesting much easier, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
start thinking and things happen. So that's why, have work on yourself, develop yourself, be with self-care and respect, uh, develop the courage, have patience, learn, stay in your lane, and things will start
Yeah.
unfolding. Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's a couple of other things that I would say, just by way of a very quick summary, is, like attracts like. Just think about the laws of attraction. Uh, People can smell desperation a mile off. And if you're
Absolutely.
desperate, you're in a situation where you're presented with a potential client and you're like, my fees are, and you're trying to calculate. No, you just stick to your fees. You don't negotiate. You don't do free. You do complimentary in return for. So there's always that positive exchange of energy. You've got to have fun along the way. If you're not enjoying it, do something else. That will definitely show. You've really got to have fun, diversify. But I think the main thing is, think of every connection as a conversation. If you think this is a sales pitch, this is networking, this is I've got to close. No, it's just all conversations. Then you start to take the pressure off yourself and realize
Absolutely.
actually nobody's perfect. We're all a work in progress. Just enjoy the ride rather than because people used to say to me as head of mentoring, I was head of mentoring at Noble Manhattan for I don't know, coming up to a decade maybe, and people used to say, oh, when am I going to have the confidence you've got, when am I going to be presenting like Gerard does or whatever? And I say probably never, because I don't know that we're there. It's your journey. We're all very different. None of us is perfect, but people have got the idea that their trainer is perfect or their meditation guide is perfect, and it's just not the case. So
No.
you need a bit of a wake-up call that you're the expert in you. You just
Yeah.
got to work it out.
And you were talking, and I just realized, I remember when you're talking about self-esteem and self-worth, when I left corporate, so when I was in banking, being vice president, and I was opening doors because I was from the company that I was representing. But when I started to work for myself, I had no
Mm.
big company behind me.
Yeah.
So that is a big shift also in identity and in
Yes.
way of thinking, that when asking for certain amounts, right?
Yeah.
Asking for the right fee and so on, and embodying the confidence that you deserve the pay for the value you give. That's
Mm.
work that I needed to do. And
Yes.
I think that also for people, I know there are many people that leave corporate moving into coaching, that it's not an easy thing. So it's an
No.
identity shift, and you need to invest in this as well. And
Yes.
it's a journey like no one. It's a journey of growth, of connection, of contribution. Coaching is just wonderful, and it's one of the best technology we have in learning and producing, life
Mm.
bulb moments, and
Yeah.
helping people to have wonderful lives,
You're right. You're right.
isn't it?
And of course, our coaching has evolved like our industry has evolved like any other.
Yeah.
And now we're all talking about the hot topic, which is AI. So what are your thoughts on that, Catalina? As somebody who works in the corporate field, how is it impacting your business?
I think that in terms of administration, in terms of ideas, um, can help a lot, and it helps. And always to check whatever it comes from the AI. AI works until it doesn't, but I think that it can help us a lot writing proposal, organizing thoughts. I think this is precious. it's nothing, I think, in my view, with connection that you have when you are so present, and when your client talks to you and tak, 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 all the things that come, and you are so present that you know to go exactly to the bull's eye. I think this is an art that you develop after a lot of practice and a lot of, experience. I think AI is a partner. It's a resource that it can be very, very important in helping us to serve our clients. Why not to use as well? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
discernment. With discernment. What's your take on this?
Well, I'm a bit of a technophobe, so I bury my head in the sand. I'm
Yeah,
still using a Filofax, Catalina. I didn't get
yeah.
a phone until 3 years ago, a mobile phone,
I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good for
because it's
you.
um, but I think the genie's out of the bottle. You can't fight it. You have to make it work for you and not the other way around. It would be
Yeah,
very easy. If we think about E.M. Foster or the Machine or 1964, George Orwell, there could be a lot of fear around the fact that this, and Musk has said it himself, can we just slow this down? He
yeah,
might have had ulterior motives for wanting to slow it down because his wasn't ready. I don't know, but um, we want to make sure that it doesn't take over. And I know there's a lot of fear, even amongst coaches, that AI is going to take over. Having been in sales all my life in the corporate world, I cannot see how a robot is going to be able to master the art of a conversation, whether that's using intuition, giving the client space,
mhm,
using the soft skills that we've got. They can do the basic coaching. They can certainly do all the admin and things like that. But the real deep, high level stuff into the mindset of a human, I don't see that happening in my lifetime. So it doesn't worry me. I think we probably need to embrace it rather than fear it,
absolutely,
work
absolutely.
with it rather than avoid it. But I don't know enough about it to say any more than that. Whereas I've spoken to some people who are very eloquent about it and they're researching it all the time, and there's lots of pros and cons. Um,
Absolutely.
but I remember it's got to be 40 years ago when our company introduced laptops for the sales force so that they knew where we were at all times. And it was like, this is terrible. And now we never even think about the technology that
With
we're
that.
using. And it didn't destroy our jobs. It
Yeah,
enhanced our ability to deliver the service.
yes.
So I'd like
Yeah.
to think that's what will happen, but
So let's use it for the greatest good. Let's put it this way. It's a
yes.
resource. We need to take care of the ethical part and boundaries in our profession, but it's a resource, and let's keep it as a resource and treat it as a resource and not to take over, you know,
Hmm.
um, the world.
Yeah.
And then, whatever life brings, as you say, we don't know in 40 years, we don't know in 1 year, but let alone 40, We
Yes.
and that is one of the important things also for us as coaching and people, to be adaptable, to be flexible, to grow. Let's
Yeah,
focus on this because this is in our control, and
exactly.
focus on this and focus on serving in our little world, and use whatever resources we can use for the greatest good. This is where I am right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, excuse me, that's just before we wrap up, that's something else. You mentioned earlier about collaboration. Uh, and, people are saying that not just the coaching world, but the accreditation world is like the Wild West. For me, it's all about collaboration rather than competition. We are all a force for good. We're just
Yes.
doing it differently. So that's probably the note to end on, because I know that you're a very busy corporate coach, and I've already taken up your hour, but I would love you just to finish, Catalina. I haven't even looked at my phone for questions, but anybody who's got questions, they can reach Catalina and me through the contact pages on the website and obviously social media. But what are you working on at the moment? What do you want your clients, your target audience to know? And when are you taking clients? And where else can they find you? I'll give you the last few minutes.
I do work with big companies, Coopers, the European Central Bank. So I have and many other companies. They can contact me via LinkedIn is the best. I'm busy also with my book on leadership at 50 for women, because as you as well, I include the wellness part, the health part, the hormonal thing into the leadership, which we know can influence a lot leadership. And this is an area of intellectual curiosity for me that I'm exploring right now. That's in parallel with coaching. I'm also teaching coaching skills. I'm teaching growth mindset and resilience, emotional intelligence, meditation. So I combine all this into helping people flourish, whether it's in their leadership or they're in life and so. But please feel free to get in touch with me, via LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. You'll find me, and I answer more questions if there is interest. And IAPCM, of course, in the my name is also listed there. So and it's a great resource.
Listed in a few places, isn't it? You're not only on the directory, you're a familiar face hosting masterclasses.
Oh yes, so masterclasses as well, right?
Wonderful people like Leah, the fertility coach expert. So I'm sure she can help you with stats for your book.
Absolutely.
There. And you're the new podcast host of our podcast, Both Sides of the Coin. You've just done your first one.
We just filmed the first one. Yes, it's coming. Thank you. And I'm very excited about this project. And I hope it will be a beautiful partnership with great coaches and their clients to really create best practices in coaching that will help many and will inspire many people to raise their coaching standards and get, ideas.
Just goes to prove, Catalina, give a busy person another job to do and they will always fit it in because they're the best ones at juggling.
Well, I can say no. I'm good at saying no, luckily, but this is really it's very exciting. I'm very and grateful to give back, right? Because this is life about, right? I got a lot, and it's my way of giving back.
Yeah, which is what we expect all our fellow members to do. We know there's a lot of people who aspire to achieve what we're achieving. And so it's a way of paying it forward by sharing tools, tips, techniques, successes, and the failures with other people. That's where the mentoring comes in. You can learn faster by our mistakes. And so all good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I thank you. Thank you.
I've loved spending some dedicated time with you, Catalina. It's always a pleasure. Any questions, anybody wants to know any more, just contact us on the platforms Catalina mentioned. And if all else fails, just go to the contact page at the IAPCM. We'll happily take your questions if you want to reach out, or come back next month, first Wednesday of every month. And I'll make sure if you do ask a question that's for Catalina, I will get it to her. So stay safe, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Catalina. It's been a pleasure.